Morning, Oog.
Hey, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing great. We got a nice sunny day here in the Okanagan, and we're starting to see some life in these junior markets. In particular, things are really looking a lot more positive. And I think, like you said earlier in our conversation, it's Christmas in January.
Yes, I'm glad that we're finally out of the Christmas break, and people are thinking forward and looking at real opportunities, and I think this is really good for us because we have so many exciting things going on, and we are really driving forward and executing our strategy, and I think it's paying off. It's starting to pay off at least.
It certainly is. It's starting to reflect in the share price, and I mean, that's been the main thing that you've been highlighting for the last number of updates that we've done is executing on the overall business strategy of Northern Graphite. And boy, you've been busy. So maybe just give us a quick highlight on the news this morning.
Yeah, actually, maybe I can even go back to December, just before Christmas, when we announced our LOI with Graphite, and the announcement today is really a continuation of that strategy, which is we need to get into the battery anode material business. And my view of it is we have to do it at scale. If you look at what's happening in China, who today basically has a monopoly on the battery anode material business, they supply 95% of what is being consumed. And the ability for us to be able to really go at scale and to make sure that we build a site that is large enough for our ambitions. And we have 300,000 tons of capacity that we can basically get out of ground. And what it allows us to do is really to think big and to compete with China. And this is how they do it. They built the infrastructure for a large production volume, and then they invite companies to participate in that infrastructure. And so what we're trying to do at Baie-Comeau is exactly the same thing, is we want to create the infrastructure for us to be able to build on that with our own reserves, as well as inviting others if they want to participate, and really invest in transforming what we extract from our mines in Canada and Namibia and produce battery anode material. And what's really interesting about Baie-Comeau is the location is perfect for us. And the reason why it's perfect is because we can train material in from our mines in Canada, and we can ship material in via sea from Namibia, and we can concentrate everything in a site, in a super site, where we would have the economies of scale, which are comparable to the ones that China has today. And then we can then re-export that material from Baie-Comeau through the Great Lakes into Canada and North America, or we can then export it to Europe using the excellent connections that they have with Rotterdam. And so for us, that site is strategic. Now, what is it going to look like? Where is it going to be? How much is it going to cost? How many people is going to employ? All that has to be defined. And this is why, we've given ourselves 12 months to do the due diligence. And actually, I'm on my way there next week to spend 10 days in Quebec and really start working on that project. We'll be on location. We'll be meeting all the local stakeholders, and we will start to put the project together. And, so it's a lot of work, but we're excited, and it's exactly what I said to you multiple times during our updates is, we're really focusing on execution, and this is part of it. And this is one of many more announcements to come, because if we execute, we'll have things to talk about.
It's certainly starting to resonate in the stock price. I mean, we're the stock's up nicely over 10%, in the last number of trading days, and we really have, just in the overall resource market, hit the ground running in January. Even being led by gold, which was kind of lackluster in 2022, but certainly the market is really starting to pay attention to the companies that are executing and having good results, in particular on exploration results. So this kind of news coming out of Northern Graphite, I think, is a real catalyst. I mean, you know, Northern Graphite really does still have a relatively low market cap when it comes to the, you know, the size of the prize. That's how I always think of it, as, you know, what's the overall size of the prize is far greater than the current market cap. And, you know, much like we had talked about, you're going to have a lot of people trying to get through a very small door, and that can have a dramatic increase in the price of the shares.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, share price is a good indicator of how we execute and how we succeed, and how we can attract investors to buy into our story and how we are developing the company. But I also look at many other factors. You know, if you see our ability to engage with, you know, the Baie-Comeau region, and how we can get, you know, all those folks aligned with what we're doing, and the same, you know, it's exactly the same with OEMs and people who are making batteries. They're starting to realize that, you know, we're serious and we have big ambitions, and they have big ambitions, and so that's how we come together, you know. And I think that in this life, timing is critical, right? It's all about timing, and I think our timing is perfect. You know?
I think the timing is perfect as well. I mean, you've got, you know, maybe just in closing, we can talk a little bit about that. I mean, there's been no shortage of news over the last couple of years, you know, with respect to, for example, OEMs building massive, you know, battery type facilities, and not to mention, you know, the more recent, you know, the governments around the world that are really, you know, supporting these initiatives, because, you know, at the end of the day, what we're talking about is changing how we power things.
Yep.
And, you know, that's huge. I mean, you know, you change transportation, you change everything. And so maybe just some, you know, some closing comments. I mean, I can't imagine how much stuff you've got coming down the pipe, and how much this engagement that you're talking about, you know, from the OEMs to the governments, but there seems to be a lot of support in this initiative that you've announced today. And to back that up, to have the actual graphite production, I mean, that's just got to be a 1 + 1 =, I don't know, a lot.
Yeah, but if you look at what we've done with Northern Graphite in the last 8 months, it's amazing, right? I mean, we had basically one development project sitting in Ontario. Today we sit on, you know, actual production in North America, the only producer in North America. A mine that we're about to restart in Namibia that will produce, you know, 30,000 to 40,000 tons of material, and 2 very large development projects that we can add to the mix. And now, you know, we've committed to working with the Baie-Comeau area to look at the site for our big super site to make battery anode material, and that all fits together. You know, and we would not stop there. You know, we're continuing to look downstream. I mean, you and I have talked about all the other applications that there are for graphite. There are many, and those, you know, can generate cash for us today. We don't have to wait. You know, the deal with Graphics is great because it gives us access to their facility in China to start producing Canadian anode battery material that we can supply to customers so they can do trials with, you know. So it's the right way, and it's all about how quickly we can execute. And if you look at what we've done in the last 8 months and how much money we've raised and how we were able to engage with all these stakeholders, you know, it's amazing the speed at which we're doing it. Nobody else is doing it that fast.
Yeah, nobody. Well, you know, congratulations on the news this morning, and I'm really looking forward. I mean, I'm here with Hugues Jackman, who's the Chief Executive Officer of Northern Graphite. Hugues, I'm really looking forward to seeing you at the Vancouver Resource Investment Show, which is also called the Cambridge. So we're going to have our, you know, initial indications. Ticket sales for the main show, the Cambridge show, are up over 200%.
Wow.
So, you know, investors are really starting to pay attention, and, you know, what a great time to be owning Northern Graphite, and really look forward to seeing you in January, or later this month, I guess, in Vancouver.
Next week, I'm flying to Canada, so I will be there for 3 weeks. Looking forward to it.
Well, hopefully we'll keep some warm weather for you. it's been nice and sunny for the last week or two, but you know, you're coming out west, so that's better than going out east. So we look forward to
It
seeing you.
definitely is. I can tell you it'll be cold in Baie-Comeau when I get up there.
Yeah.
So.
All right, have a great day.
Okay, thank you, Sharman. Take care, my friend. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.